Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today's Saturday, February 16th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college hoops games, NBA All-Star stuff, and NHL. Look ahead to tonight's festivities in the NBA and then games in college basketball and NHL. Shortstop rankings, my mock bracket, and my best bet. To college hoops we go. A lot of games are going to be played today, but there weren't that many last night. Number 25 Buffalo defeats Toledo 88-82. Good win for Buffalo. They are 22-3. Toledo's 20-5. Canisius defeats Fairfield 72-68. Canisius 12-13. Fairfield 7-19. Ionis defeats St. Peter's 62-46. Iona 10-15. St. Peter's 6-18. Manhattan defeats Niagara 64-60. Manhattan 8-17, Niagara 11-15. Ryder defeats Monmouth 81-72. Ryder 13-13. Monmouth 10-17. Cornell defeats Brown 70-66 in overtime. Cornell 13-10. Brown 14-9. Yale defeats Columbia 70-64. Yale 16-4. Columbia 6-15. Georgia State defeats South Alabama 90-81. Georgia State 18-8. South Alabama 12-14. Davidson defeats St. Joe's 80-72. Davidson 19-6. St. Joe's 11-15. Penn defeats Dartmouth 82-79 in overtime. Penn 15-8. Dartmouth 11-12. Harvard defeats Princeton 78-69. Harvard and Princeton are both now 12-8. Marist defeats Quinnipiac 63-61. Marist 11-14. Quinnipiac 13-11. Wright State defeats Northern Kentucky 81-77. Wright State 16-11. Northern Kentucky 20-7. And Georgia Southern defeats Troy 76-51. Georgia Southern 16-10. Troy 11-14. Today's slate is pretty big. I'll pick all the nationally televised games and games between ranked teams. Number 24, Maryland at number 6, Michigan, 12 o'clock on Fox. Michigan's a 7-point favorite. I think they win and cover. Number 8, North Carolina's at Wake Forest on the ACC network. Carolina's a 17-point favorite. I think they'll win and cover. Clemson at number 16, Louisville, 12 o'clock on ESPN. Louisville's favored by 4.5. I think they bounce back from the Duke collapse and win and cover. ESPNU, Auburn at Vanderbilt. Auburn's favored by 8. Auburn wins, Vanderbilt covers. ESPN2, Oklahoma at TCU. TCU's favored by 5.5. TCU wins, Oklahoma covers. I just think that game's going to be a little closer. George Washington at Duquesne on NBCSN. Duquesne's favored by 8. They'll win and cover. Southern Illinois at Indiana State. Bucknell at Holy Cross. Detroit Mercy at Green Bay at 1 o'clock. UMass Lowell at UMBC. Stony Brook in New Hampshire. 1 o'clock on CBS. Oklahoma State at Texas. Texas is favored by 11. They'll win and they'll cover. I just don't think Oklahoma State's good at all. SEC Network, Texas A&M at South Carolina. South Carolina's favored by 4 points. They'll win and cover. 2 o'clock, ACC Network, Notre Dame at number 4, Virginia. Virginia's laying 16.5. They'll win and cover. Baylor at number 15, Texas Tech. Tech's favored by 7.5. That line's too big. I'm going to say Texas Tech wins, but Baylor covers. ACC Network, number 17, Florida State at Georgia Tech. Florida State's a 6.5-point favorite on the road. I'm going to say they win, but Georgia Tech covers. ESPNU, Florida at Alabama. Bama's favored by 3.5. They'll win and cover. ESPN2, Indiana at Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 3.5. I'm going to say they win and cover. On Fox at 2 o'clock, Xavier Providence. Providence is favored by 5.5. I'm going to say they win and cover. Fordham at Rhode Island on NBCSN. Rhode Island's favored by 11. They'll win and cover. Drexel at Towson. Akron at Ball State. Charlotte at Old Dominion. Rice at FAU. North Texas at FIU. Coastal Carolina at Appalachian State. Middle Tennessee at Marshall. Sacred Heart LA Brooklyn. The Citadel of Western Carolina. Miami of Ohio, Western Michigan. CBS Sports Network, Army at Navy. Army's a 1-point favorite. I think they'll win and cover, obviously. Don't feel great about it. 3 o'clock, UTSA at Louisiana Tech. South Carolina Upstate at Longwood. UAB at Western Kentucky. South Dakota at Western Illinois. Valparaiso at Drake. Tennessee Martin, SIU Edwardsville. UTEP at Southern Miss. Grand Canyon at Chicago State, 3:30 on the SEC Network. Missouri at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is laying 9. I think Ole Miss wins, but Missouri covers. 4 o'clock Big Ten Network. Penn State at number 12 Purdue. Purdue will win and cover. They've been great lately. ESPN West Virginia number 14 Kansas. Kansas is favored by 14. They'll win and cover. They're going to blow the doors off of West Virginia. ESPN 2. Number 23, Iowa State at number 18, Kansas State. Kansas State's favored by 3. They'll win and cover. I'm talking about Kansas State. BYU at Loyola Marymount. BYU's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm going to say that Loyola Marymount covers and wins the game outright. Northeastern at Charleston. Florida Gulf Coast at Stetson. North Florida, NJIT, NBCSN, VCU at Dayton. Dayton's laying 1.5 at home. VCU needs these games to get themselves in the at-large picture, and I think they'll pull off the road upset. North Carolina A&T at Howard, Utah State at Air Force, Abilene Christian at Incarnate Word, Bethune-Cookman at South Carolina State, Kappa State at Maryland Eastern, Wagner at Mount St. Mary's, Mercer at East Tennessee State, Colgate at American, Central Connecticut State at St. Francis Brooklyn, Texas State at Little Rock, Southeast Missouri State at Eastern Illinois at 4:15, 4:30 ACC Network, number 22 Virginia at Pitt. Virginia Tech's laying 6 points. I'm going to say Virginia Tech wins, but Pitt covers. Stephen F. Austin at Northwestern State, VMI at Furman, Lehigh at Boston University, Bryant at Fairleigh Dickinson, Campbell at Presbyterian, Bowling Green at Northern Illinois, Ohio at Central Michigan, Liberty at North Alabama, Lipscomb at Kennesaw State, Austin P at Morehead State, 5 o'clock South Dakota State at North Dakota State, McNeese at Southeastern Louisiana, UNLV at San Jose State. UNLV's laying 12. They'll win. I'm going to say that San Jose State covers, though. Winthrop at Gardner-Webb, Chattanooga at Sanford, Texas Arlington at Arkansas State, Vermont at Hartford. CBS Sports Network at 5 o'clock, LaSalle at St. Louis. St. Louis is favored by 7.5. I'm going to say St. Louis wins, but LaSalle covers. Northern Colorado at Eastern Washington. 5:15 a.m. Corpus Christi at New Orleans. 5:30 Alcorn State at Mississippi Valley State. Purdue Fort Wayne at Omaha. Sam Houston State at Lamar. Radford at Charleston Southern. 6 o'clock ESPN. NC State at number 2 Duke. Duke will win and Duke will cover. They're just a better team. SEC Network. 19 LSU at Georgia. LSU's favored by 8. I think they win and cover. They're just a better team. Fox Sports 1, number 21 Iowa at Rutgers. Trap game for sure. Rutgers can get above 500 on the year with a win here. I'm going to say no. Iowa is going to win and they'll cover barely. High Point at Hampton. Texas Southern at Grambling. Alabama A&M at Alabama State. UIC at Youngstown State, Memphis at UCF. On ESPN2, UCF's favored by 5.5. I'm going to say they win and cover. ESPNU, Temple at South Florida. USF is a 1-point favorite. This is a game, I think the winner of this game may go to the tournament as an at-large. I think Temple's better than USF. UCF's been the surprise of the AAC all year. But I'm going to say that Temple takes this one on the road. Florida A&M at Savannah State, NC Central at Norfolk State, Prairie View at Jackson State at 6:30, NC Central Norfolk 6:32, 7 o'clock UNT Greensboro at Wofford. These two teams are combined 44-8. Wofford's a 7-point favorite. I'm going to say that Wofford wins, but Greensboro covers. IUPUI at Cleveland State, Brown at Columbia, Robert Morris at St. Francis, Pennsylvania, Yale at Cornell, Dartmouth at Princeton, Harvard at Penn, Oakland at Milwaukee, Murray State at Eastern Kentucky, Fresno State at New Mexico, CBS Sports Network at 7 o'clock, Boise State at San Diego State. San Diego State's a 5-point favorite. They'll win and cover that easily. Eastern Michigan at Kent State, Hofstra at UNC Wilmington, Cal State Bakersfield at UMKC, William & Mary at Elan, 8 o'clock ESPN. This is a big one. Number 1 Tennessee at number 5 Kentucky. Kentucky's a 4-point favorite. Tough call. I want to be a fraud and say that Kentucky wins, but Tennessee covers. But that's how I think it's going to go. I think this will be a 3-point game. And I think Milwaukee will hit their free throws, and then they'll come down to Tennessee hitting a big shot late, potentially, to tie the game. So, worst case scenario, I think this will be a push. So give me Kentucky to win, but Tennessee to cover. Utah Valley at Texas Rio Grande. Pac-12 Network, USC at Cal. USC is a 6.5-point favorite. I'm going to say that they win and cover. Cal is just ridiculously so bad. ESPNU Washington and Washington State. Washington is a 7.5-point favorite. They'll win and cover. Delaware at James Madison. Fox Sports 1. DePaul at Butler. Butler's a 6.5-point favorite. They'll win and cover. Oral Roberts at North Dakota. On ESPN2, you have Bradley and Illinois State. Illinois State's a 4-point favorite. I'm going to say they win and cover. Nichols at Houston Baptist. Tennessee State at Jacksonville State. Yale Monroe at Louisiana. 8:30 Southern at Pine Bluff. Belmont at Tennessee Tech. SEC Network, Mississippi State at Arkansas. Mississippi State's a 1.5 favorite on the road. I'm going to say that they win and cover. Big Ten Network, Northwestern at Nebraska. Nebraska's a 5-point favorite. I'm going to say they win, but Northwestern covers. Pacific at Santa Clara is a pick'em. Give me Santa Clara. Montana State at Weber State. Seattle at New Mexico. Montana at Idaho State, 10 o'clock on ESPN. Number 3, Gonzaga at San Diego. Gonzaga's a 16-point favorite. I'm going to say they win. They didn't cover last game, but I think they'll cover tonight against San Diego. ESPNU, number 7, Nevada at Wyoming. Nevada's favored by 21.5. I'm going to say they win and cover. Fox Sports 1, Arizona State at Utah. Utah's a 1-point favorite. I'm going to say that they must win mode. I'm going to say Arizona State wins the game outright. ESPN2, UCLA at Stanford. This is probably the Dave Pasch, Bill Walton special unless they get the WCC game. This is a pick'em, and I'm going to pick Stanford. Long Beach State at UC Davis. Cal State Fullerton at CSU Northridge. San Francisco at Portland. Southern Utah at Portland State. Northern Arizona at Sacramento State. 10:30 on the Pac-12 Network. Oregon at Oregon State. Oregon State's a 1-point favorite. I think Oregon State wins and covers. 11 o'clock, Pepperdine at St. Mary's. St. Mary's is favored by 14. I'm going to say St. Mary's wins, but Pepperdine covers. I just think it's a 10-point game rather than a 14-point game. 12 o'clock, midnight Eastern, you have UC Santa Barbara at UC Irvine. Irvine's a 6-point favorite. I'm going to say Irvine wins, but Santa Clara covers. And then 1 o'clock Eastern time tonight, UC Riverside, Hawaii. Hawaii's a 10.5-point favorite. I'm going to say Hawaii wins and covers the 10.5. Last night was the Rising Stars game as well as the Celebrity game. Celebrity game was fun. Ray Allen played. Jay Williams played. ESPN New York and Hot 97's Peter Rosenberg was involved. It was a fun game. And you also had a bunch of other random celebrities in there. It was cool seeing Ray Allen play, gotta be honest. In the Rising Stars game, USA defeats World 161-144. Kyle Kuzma took home the MVP honors. He had 35 points. And then Ben Simmons played well for World. He had 28 points. And there's never any defense played in these types of games. And then tonight's the skills competition. There's a lot of big names involved in that. You have Jason Tatum, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Mike Conley, Kyle Kuzma, De'Aaron Fox, Nikola Jokic, and Nikola Vucevic. I am going to take Luka Doncic to take home the skills competition. He knows that he's the future of this league, and it's going to be him and Zion Williamson and whomever else emerges of the young group. And obviously you still have Giannis, Anthony Davis, like the next generation. And I think Luka has an excellent chance of being the face of that. So give me Luka Doncic in the Taco Bell Skills Challenge. 3-pointers. A lot of good contestants. Obviously you have the two Curry brothers in there with Steph and Seth. You have Dirk Nowitzki, Devin Booker, Danny Green, Joe Harris, Buddy Hield, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Kemba Walker. And I mentioned Dirk earlier. It'd be cool to see Dirk win, but I just don't think so. I'm going to say that Danny Green is a winner. He's a smooth, sharp shooter, having a great year on the Raptors. And he's emerged as one of the better above-average starting two guards in the NBA. So give me Danny Green as like a long shot pick to win this contest, because I feel like everyone's going to pick Steph. And then the dunk contest. A lot of interesting contestants in this. You have Miles Bridges, John Collins, Hamidou Diallo, and Dennis Smith Jr. So only 4 contestants. I'm going to take Dennis Smith Jr. of the Knicks. He's currently the favorite at 2-1. Surprisingly, the favorite. I thought John Collins would be the favorite, but it's Dennis Smith Jr. But I'm going to take Smith Jr. to win this. He's put on some highlight dunks this year with NHL. Only 4 games on yesterday's slate. The Rangers defeat the Sabres 6-2. The Rangers 25-24-8. Buffalo 28-22-7. The Hurricanes defeat the Oilers 3-1. Big win for Carolina. They are 30-22-6. Edmonton 24-28-5. The Devils defeat the Wild 5-4 in overtime. Corey Schneider finally gets a win. Devils are 22-28-8. Minnesota 27-25-6. And then the Bruins defeat the Ducks 3-0. Boston 33-17-8. Anaheim 22-27-9. Today's slate's bigger. 1 o'clock, you have the Red Wings at the Flyers, the Flames at the Penguins. 3 o'clock, the Blues at the Avalanche. 7 o'clock, the Canadiens at the Lightning. The Oilers at the Islanders. The Senators at the Jets. The Maple Leafs at the Coyotes. 8 o'clock, the Stars at the Hurricanes. 8:30, the Blue Jackets at the Blackhawks. 10 o'clock, the Predators at the Golden Knights. The Canucks at the Sharks. And at 10:30, the Bruins at the Kings. Now quickly, I'm going to do my shortstop rankings as we move closer to the start of the 2019 baseball season. I have 35 shortstops on here. Some of these are free agents and some teams have platoons. 35 Richie Martin Orioles. 34 Javi Guerrero of the Padres. I could have had Greg Garcia slotted as a shortstop and Javi Guerrero at third, but I decided to go with Guerrero at short and then Garcia at third. 33 JT Riddle Marlins. 32 Eric Gonzalez Pirates. Number 31 Freddie Galvis Jays. 30 JP Crawford Mariners. 29 Nick Ahmed Diamondbacks. 28 Jose Iglesias, who's a free agent. 27 Jordy Mercer Tigers. 26 Troy Tulowitzki Yankees. 25 Jose Peraza Reds. 24 Ahmed Rosario Mets. 23 Tim Beckham Mariners. 22 Johan Camargo Braves. He's somebody I should have put in third base, but he's seen a lot of time at shortstop, and I think there's a chance he could see a lot of time at shortstop this year if Dansby Swanson doesn't pan out. 21 Orlando Arcia Brewers. 20 Adalberto Mondesi Royals. 19 Dansby Swanson Braves. 18 Marcus Semien A's. 17 Elvis Andrus Rangers. 16 Willie Adames Rays. 15 Brandon Crawford Giants. 14 Jorge Polanco Twins. 13 Tim Anderson White Sox. 12 Paul DeJong Cardinals. 11 Andrelton Simmons Angels. 10 Trey Turner Nationals. 9 Jay Segura Phillies. 8 Xander Bogaerts Red Sox. 7 Corey Seager Dodgers. 6 Trevor Story Rockies. 5 Carlos Correa Astros. 4 Didi Gregorius Yankees. 3 Javier Baez Cubs. 2 Manny Machado, still a free agent. And number 1 Francisco Lindor, Cleveland Indians. He's a star, and he really deserves this top to honor on the list. I think he's overshadowed, and I think people are too quick to pencil in Carlos Correa at 1. Meanwhile, he's never lived up to expectations. He isn't even the best player on his own team. And what Lindor is the best player on his team. And he's the leader of that Indians team, and he's so good. Now my bracket projections for the weekend. 68 seeds, obviously. My number one overall seed in the East region, the Duke Blue Devils. My number one seed in the Midwest. Number 2 overall, Tennessee Vols. Number 3 overall, number 1 in the West, Gonzaga Bulldogs. Number 4 overall, number 1 in the South, Virginia. My 2 seeds in the West, Michigan. In the South, Kentucky. Midwest, North Carolina. In the East, Michigan State. 3 seeds in the East, LSU. Midwest, Nevada. South, Houston. West, Louisville. 4 seeds, West, Marquette. Midwest, Kansas State. South, Purdue. East, Villanova. My 5 seeds, East, Kansas. West, Cincinnati. Midwest, Wisconsin. South, Texas Tech. 6 seeds, East, Virginia Tech. Midwest, Iowa. South, Maryland. West, Iowa State. 7 seeds, South, Buffalo. West, Florida State. East, Syracuse. And Midwest, Baylor. 8 seeds, South, Mississippi State. West, Ole Miss. East, Ohio State. Midwest, Minnesota. 9 seeds, Midwest, Auburn. South, TCU. West, Washington. East, St. John's. In the 10 seeds, in the South, NC State. East, Arizona State. The Midwest, Alabama. In the West, UCF. 11 seeds. I did things differently because I have an at-large set in 11 seeds and 1 in 12 seeds. In the Midwest, Seton Hall. The South, Clemson. West, VCU. Play-in game in the East with the 11 seeds, Temple and Wofford. Play-in game at large, 12 seeds, Davidson and Murray State in the Midwest. And then your auto bid 12s, South Furman, West Belmont, East Liberty. 13 seeds, West New Mexico State, Midwest Hofstra, East Vermont, South Old Dominion. 14 seeds, East Radford, West UC Irvine, Midwest Loyola Chicago, and Texas State South. 15 seeds, East Yale, South Bucknell, West Montana, Midwest South Dakota State, and their 16 seeds, Midwest Wright State, West Canisius. Playing game in the South, Sam Houston State and Norfolk State, and in the playing game in the East, St. Francis, Pennsylvania, and Prairie View. Now my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I whiffed yesterday badly because I had a lot of teams that just lost outright in college basketball. This is strictly college basketball today. 14 or 15 teams. North Carolina, I should say. Texas, Old Dominion, Rhode Island, Virginia, East Tennessee State, Kansas, UNLV, Duke, Jacksonville State, Belmont, Gonzaga, San Francisco, St. Mary's, and Hawaii. So that's 15. 266 is the odds, and my payout is $3.66 with only wagering $1. That's it on the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping college basketball, the NBA festivities on All-Star Weekend, the NHL, and then I'll do my left field rankings. And I'm going to throw in another random activity. I just don't know what yet. And then, obviously, my best bet of the day. And that's if I even have a podcast tomorrow. In all likelihood, I will, because last Sunday I did not have one. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.